Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, we are Kufo and we are going to present about sociolinguistic and psycholinguistic. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce our group first. My name is Warapa Tohdin and my partners are Kewalin Sansulee, Gilang Ardiansyah, and Nur Sya'bandiah. Okay, the introduction of psycholinguistic and sociolinguistic. The psycholinguistic is a field in which psychologists and linguists work together. Psychologists dedicate their time investigating areas such as first language, acquisition, second language, development, language handicap, while sociolinguistics are perhaps have more interest in understanding how social factors influence the development of bilingual language performance. Psycholinguists are more trained in finding how the development of the internal cognitive aspect of human being contributes to the linguistic competence of the bilinguals. A skip line named socio-psycholinguistic perhaps should be blended to tackle the areas where sociolinguistic and psycholinguistic may work hand in hand. Okay, this is a sociolinguistic. For this sociolinguistic, it will be presented by Nur Sya'bandiah. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Nura. Sociolinguistic, basic definition. Linguistic, the scientific study of human language meaning from and context. Next, sociolinguistic, the study of language in relation to science. Sociolinguistic, its main focus is society on language. Social Sociology of language, its main focus is language effect on society. The next, main representatives of sociolinguistics by William Labov, American linguist, widely regarded as the variationist founder of the discipline of sociolinguistics. He has been described as an enormously original and influential figure who has of created methodology, sociolinguistics. He is employed as a professor in the University of in much of the linguistic department of Pennsylvania. The end pursues research sociolinguistics, language change, and dialectology. Okay, next by Basil Bernstein, British sociologist and linguist, known for his work in the sociology of education. Basil Bernstein made a significant contribution to the study of communication with his sociolinguistic theory of language codes.
Okay, this is a field of study of sociolinguistics. This topic will be presented by Gilang. So Gilang, time is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Nora. Field of study of sociolinguistics. Language varieties, social variable affecting language, ethnicity, religion, status, gender, level of education, age, and so on. Rules creation for social or socioeconomic classes, dialects or usage of language from place to place, grammar, phonetic and vocabulary of language variation among social classes or sociolect code switching. Main concept in sociolinguistics. The first one is speech community. This create group of people who use language in a unique and mutually accepted way among themselves. Second one is high or low prestige varieties. Speech habits are assigned a positive or a negative value which is then applied to the speaker. And third, social network. A particular speech community in terms of relation between individual members in a community. And the last one is I-language and e-language. Internal language applies to the study of syntax and semantic in language on the abstract level, and external language applies to language in social context, behavioral habit shared by a community. And methodology in sociolinguistics as introduced by William Leboeuf. The method used in sociolinguistics is quantitative study of language into language variation and change. There are different styles ranging from formal to casual, namely. So first one is MP or minimal pair reading. Is a minimal pairs are pairs of words that differ in only one phoneme, such as cat and bed. The second is WL or word list reading, is helping the subject read a word list will like it a formal register, but generally not as formal MP. Next, the RP or reading based style. And this style is next down on the formal register. Next is IES or interview style. It's when an interviewer can finally get into eliciting a more casual speech from the subject. The last one is casual style. This type of speech is difficult, if not impossible, to elicit because of the observed paradox.
Okay, thank you, Gilang. This slide is the topic of languages in context. It will be presentation by Gail. So Gail, time is yours.
Language in contact. Contact linguistics. Language contact occurs when two or more languages or variety interact. The study of language contact is called contact linguistics, form of influence of one language on another. Borrowing of vocabulary. The most common way that languages influence each other is by exchange of words. Adoption of other language feature. The influence can go deeper, extending to the exchange of even basic characteristics of a language such as morphology and grammar. Language shift. The result of the contact of two languages can be the replacement of one by the other, superstratum over substratum. Statal influence. When people retain features of the substratum as they learn the new language and pass this feature on to their children, leading to the development of a new variety. Pidginization and creolization. People with no common language interact, developing a pidgin, which may eventually become a native language.
Other important language concepts: slang, idiom, dialect, vernacular language, jargon, second language, standard language, native language, foreign language, lingua franca, official language, neutral language, global language. Sociolinguistics, sociolinguistics and teaching. Importance: language as conventional system acquired by individuals in social context or social phenomenon of verbal interaction. Language as a distinctive element of communication presenting linguistic varieties, which are geographical, historical, social, and culturally determined. Relevant in the process of teaching foreign language as a social adjustment factor. Language variation according to gender, age, ethnicity, status, and so on. The notion of bird English on the basis of language, regional variation, main emphasis on communication and intelligibility rather than a perfect native-like pronunciation.
Okay, the psycholinguistic. The definition of psycholinguistic. The psycholinguistic is a branch of study which combines the disciplines of psychology and linguistics. It is concerned with the relationship between the human mind and the language as it examines the processes that occur in brain while producing and perceiving both written and spoken discourse. The psycholinguistics as a separate branch of study emerged in the late 1950s and 1960s as a result of Chomsky's revolution. Okay, there are the three primary processes investigate in psycholinguistics. The first is language comprehension, and the second is language production, and the last is language acquisition. So the language comprehension, it will be presented by Gilang. So Gilang, time is yours.
Okay, Nora, thank you. So language comprehension, understanding what other people say and write. Language comprehension is more complicated than it might at first appear. Comprehending language involves a variety of capacity skills process, knowledge, and dispositions that are used to derive meaning from spoken, written, and sign language. Comprehension is mainly thought to occur in the Whitney area of the brain, which is located in the left temporal lobe. Language comprehension is a complex process that occurs easily and effortlessly by human. It develops along with the brain and is able to be enhanced with the use of gesture. Though it is unknown exactly how early comprehension is fully developed in children, gesture and undoubtedly useful for understanding the language around us.
Okay, for this slide, it will be presented by Kewalin. So Gail, time is yours.
Language production. Language production is the process by which
Okay, I will continue. Language production. Languages production is the production of spoken or written language. It describes all of the states between having a concept and translating that concept. Okay. Languages production. Languages production is the production of spoken or written language. It describes all of the states between having a concept and translating that concept into linguistic form. Stages of production, the basic loop occurring in the creation of language consists of the following stages: intent, message, encode message into linguistic form, encode linguistic form into speech, sound goes from speaker's mouth to hearer ear, speech in decode into linguistic form, and the last is linguistic form is decode into meaning. Okay, this slide it will be presented by Dia. So Dia, time is yours. Okay, Gilang, maybe you can help.
Okay, Nora. So language acquisition. Language acquisition is the process by which humans acquire the capacity to perceive and comprehend language, as well as to produce and use word and sentence to communicate. Language acquisition usually refers to first language acquisition, which studies infants' acquisition of their native language. This is distinguished from second language acquisition, which deals with the acquisition or in both children and adults of the additional language. Language acquisition is just one start of psycholinguistics, which is all about how people learn to speak and mental processes involved. And central theme in psycholinguistics. So number one, what knowledge of language is needed for us to use language? And the first one is tacit or implicit knowledge versus explicit knowledge. The second one, tacit or knowledge of how to perform something, but not aware of full rules. And the last is explicit or knowledge of the process of mechanism in performing that thing. So number two, what cognitive processes are involved in the ordinary use of language? So first, how do we understand a lecture, read a book, hold a conversation? And the second cognitive process is perception, memory, thinking, and learning.
Okay, that's all of our presentation. I hope you can enjoy with our presentation. Thank you and see you. Goodbye.